All right, let's get into market demand and supply starter practice. So in this handout, there are 3 demand shifts and 3 supply shifts, and it should be noted that I made a point to only have you shift the demand or only have you shift the supply because there are instances where a particular event could impact the supply or the demand. So I wanted to make sure that I eliminated that complication for you, and we really just focused on the beginning foundational skills of focusing only on demand shifters and focusing only on supply shifters. So the first one here says the New York Times publishes an article titled American Workers Experience Wage Gains for the 5th Straight Month. So they're earning more money. Show the change in the market demand and resulting equilibrium price and quantity of store brand groceries. So store brand groceries are something called inferior goods. So when people are earning more money, we tend to demand fewer inferior goods, and therefore the demand for those goods would shift to the left. We would have a new intersection point there, P1. Sorry if these are a tiny bit crooked, it's a little difficult on the iPad. And then we're going to use a little subscript of 1 on all of our new axes points and curves. So demand 1, P1, and Q1. And that is due to the income effect. The second one says that assume that raspberries and strawberries are substitutes. Oftentimes in a scenario, you're going to have to be told that something is a substitute so that a student reading the question cannot disagree and say, well, I don't think they're substitutes. As a result of a fungus, Four Town Farm strawberry pouches have perished. Show the change in market demand for the raspberries. So again, if they're substitutes, then that means that if the strawberry patch died because of a fungus, that means that the supply, I'm having you practice multiple things in this question, the supply of those strawberries shifted to the left. And now those strawberries are more expensive. So the law of substitutes says that consumers are going to buy the cheaper option. So therefore, because the strawberries are more expensive, the demand for the raspberries, remember this is a graph for raspberries, is going to shift to the right. We're going to draw our new lines, P1, Q1, and D1, and the shifter in play here is substitute goods. Now be tempted not to just write price of related goods because remember there's 2 things that fit in that category. There's complementary goods and there's substitute goods. So you want to make sure that you delineate which type of related good you're focusing on. Number 3 says the New England Journal of Medicine publishes a study that a diet high in quantities of salt can shorten the average lifespan by 15 years. Clearly, this is something that people don't want to experience. They say, oh, 15 years just with a diet high in salt. Canned soup is something that's high in salt, so the demand for that product is going to shift to the left. We're going to draw our new curve. We're going to label it at the corner. Oops. Q1 and P1. And what's the shifter? It's not consumer tastes and fashions. It's about consumer expectations. Consumers expect to die earlier if they consume this soup. So tastes and preferences and expectations are a little bit difficult to delineate between on certain scenarios. But in this one, it's really about the outcome that will occur because of consuming a product, right? Whereas tastes and preferences are just, oh, more people are wearing jeans now, so they're more trendy. It's not particularly related to a specific outcome. So for instance, an expectation scenario would be a snowstorm is coming tomorrow, and now all of a sudden the snow shovels and the ice melt are gone at Home Depot. It's because people expect that if they don't buy this right now, then X is going to occur. It's not that it's trendy to have a snow shovel, it's just that they need it right now because of something. And this is also, this new health data is out, so people are saying, nope, I'm not going to consume that. For supply, After a mystery illness attacks the cotton crops, consumers see the price change for their favorite t-shirts. So the cotton crops are no longer available. This is a very important resource into making those t-shirts. We're going to see that supply shift to the left. We're going to do P1 and Q1. And this shifter is the price of resources, or you could also say the availability of resources. So, there's no holy grail of what these are called. Sometimes different textbooks are going to call them different things, but there is no shifter of supply that's natural disaster. Unforeseen events and natural disasters destroy resources. So then the availability of resources becomes the reason why these things become more expensive, because the materials that we need to produce these t-shirts are so scarce that the ones that are available are more expensive. So this brings me to one other point I want to make about supply graphs, and I went over this in the video for basics, but I just want to make sure you get it because I had to mark this on a lot of students' papers. You should draw your arrows on a horizontal plane parallel to the x-axis, and let me show you why. Because your whole life, when you draw arrows that point up, that means to increase. And when you look at the red arrows that I just drew, they're pointing up. That would imply to your brain that this is an increase in supply. And it wasn't an increase in supply, it was a decrease. But your brain associates upward arrows with going higher. So you have to be careful of what your brain believes. Your brain is totally comfortable with an arrow pointing to the left means less than, because we've been trained in the number line going from 0 on the left to a higher number on the right. So just take my advice and make sure you draw those, because when we draw down arrows for an increase in supply, your brain's going to think that that's a decrease in supply because the arrows are pointing downward. So take my advice and just follow those rules, and you will have a higher odds of getting your answers correct. Okay, so the next thing is the supply of the Tropicana orange juice. So the bottling machine has been breaking down a lot, and this is problematic for supply because they won't be able to make as many. So very similar to what we just did in the previous question, we're going to shift that supply to the left. And the shifter is technology. And I chose to do an example of technology hindering the supply, but also I'm sure you can imagine where technology would improve production and we could produce more. The last one is that NBC News reports that the president signs a farming bill into law. Incidentally, it was very challenging to write a scenario where I didn't use the word subsidy, but whenever the government is providing money to an industry, we call this a subsidy. When the government is asking industries to pay it, that's coming in the form of taxes. So if the federal government is allocating money to help entrepreneurs establish new farms, this is going to increase the supply of agricultural products because it's going to lessen the amount of money that farmers have to pay out of their own pocket to invest in their land, labor, and capital. So that's going to make the supply increase. So let me zoom out so you can see all 6 of those, and you can give your work one last peek.